But first, hitting back at the Republicans. Senator Joseph Biden wrote a scathing op-ed in today's Wall Street Journal criticizing President Bush and Senator John McCain and Senator Joe Lieberman. He says, quote, "The Bush-McCain saber-rattling is the most self-defeating policy imaginable. It achieves nothing." Senator Biden joins us now from Wilmington, Delaware. Senator Biden, good to see you. This op-ed was in response to one that Joe Lieberman wrote on Wednesday in the Wall Street Journal, in which he was highly critical of Senator Obama. You're pretty hot under the collar about all this.
Well, you know, John, I am, this has been the single most ineffectual, incompetent administration in the conduct of foreign policy in modern history. And the idea that they're asserting that the Democrats would be weak on foreign policy, I find preposterous. And we Democrats traditionally don't fight back. We sort of say we're going to talk about domestic issues. This should be a central issue where we point out the absolute paucity of any policy that's made us not stronger, it's made us weaker. It's not freedom's not on the march in the Middle East, Iran's on the march under this guy's watch.
Let me read a little bit of what Senator Lieberman wrote in the Wall Street Journal on Wednesday, talking about this idea of meeting with the leaders of Iran, Syria, and other nations. He said, quote, "Mr. Senator Obama has said that in proposing this, he's following in the footsteps of Reagan and JFK. But Kennedy never met with Castro, and Reagan never met with Khomeini. And can anyone imagine Presidents Kennedy or Reagan sitting down unconditionally with Ahmadinejad or Chavez? I certainly cannot. Does he have a point?"
No, he doesn't have a point. Kennedy sat down unconditionally, as did Reagan, as did Nixon. Nixon sat down with Mao while Mao was supplying the North Vietnamese weapons and material killing Americans. Reagan sat down with Gorbachev while they were still building additional nuclear weapons. This president of the United States sent his highest level people to Libya, including asking me to go, the administration, to make a deal with Gaddafi, a known terrorist. This president has written letters to Kim Jong-il, who makes Ahmadinejad look like he's a pansy, in fact, and what's happened? He writes, "Dear Mr. Chairman." He's working this out. So I just think this is a straw man. Here's my question is, can you imagine JFK, Franklin Roosevelt, or Harry Truman getting us into the mess we're in Iraq?
Senator, we just got this statement in that was just handed to me from the McCain campaign. They claim that, quote, "You're missing the point about the unconditional summit," saying that the actual issue is whether the office of the President of the United States should lend its prestige and legitimacy to a dictator like Ahmadinejad, saying, quote, "When a tyrant or dictator is afforded the promotion of an equal footing, unconditional summit with the President of the United States, those bad actors are emboldened and it threatens the security of the United States and our allies." What do you say?
The fact of the matter is, Barack Obama did not say he'd sit down with Ahmadinejad. He said he'd sit down with the Iranian leadership. The lack of sophistication on the part of the Republicans of not realizing that Ahmadinejad does not control the security apparatus in Iran. It is the theocracy. It is Khomeini. It is not Ahmadinejad. So the whole notion here is they don't even know what we're talking about, number one. And number two, how does it square? What would you have called Gorbachev or Brezhnev? Were they not dictators and authoritarian? What was Mao? What was Mao? Was he somehow some shrinking violet who was on the verge of democratic instincts?
You know, there's another issue.
They ought to read history.
There's another issue that bubbled up yesterday, Senator Biden, over this GI bill. John McCain doesn't support the GI bill that Senators Webb and Hagel are promoting. He supports another version of it. Senators Hagel and Webb would like to give a full ride college scholarship to members of the military, active duty, who've served for 4 years. Senator Obama supports that bill. He was critical of Senator McCain for not supporting it. And here's what Senator McCain said in response to that. Quote, "I take a backseat to no one in my affection, respect, and devotion to veterans, and I will not accept from Senator Obama, who did not feel it was his responsible to serve our country in uniform, any lectures on my regard for those who did." What do you think of that statement?
You know, when we were in undergraduate school, we took courses in logic, and that's called an ad hominem attack. It does not respond to whether or not the bill is good. It takes on a cheap shot about whether or not Obama, who is 40 years younger or 30 years younger than John, whether he served in the military.
Is that a window into a possible line of Republican attack this fall, though? Do you think that they will question his lack of military service?
I expect so. It's, you know, it's classically Republican. I'm surprised it's coming from John. but it's classically, not just Republican, it's a classic political counterattack. When you have nothing to say, go at the person, as opposed to the argument. The fact of the matter is we have not treated our veterans well, period. They're coming home without the proper treatment. We're closing down veterans hospitals, that we need to increase the number of psychiatric nurses. We have more people coming back with traumatic brain injury. So the list goes on and on and on. We're not taking care of them.
Our Suzanne Malveaux was hearing this morning that in terms of who he might pick as a running mate, Senator Obama could be looking for somebody with strong national security credentials, somebody like former Georgia Senator Sam Nunn, somebody like former General Wesley Clark, or someone like Senator Joe Biden of Delaware. If asked, would you take the job?
You know, anybody asks, it'd be hard to say no. I don't want the job. I made it clear I don't want the job. I want to be chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee. I think I can help promote what I feel strongly. But the reason I ran for president in the first place is these issues. And I think I'm much better suited where I am.
All right. Senator Joe Biden, it's always great to have you on. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
A great Memorial Day weekend to you, by the way.
Thank you, and you too. I hope you get a chance.
Going on the Rolling Thunder run this weekend in Washington on my